What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Alright guys, real quick, if you have not done so, go check out the live stream. We did a 2.5 hours free to play. That's right, free to play hard mode Deimos. That's right, we finally got it done. So I'm going to show you guys what I did, my setup. And I honestly didn't expect to even do this, but everyone was asking me to try it. So we tried it. We played around with it. 2.5 hours later, we actually finished it with 0 blessings. No blessings. We don't do blessings in this house. All right, guys? The only blessings we have is our skills. And that's as far as we go on messing around. We did no blessings, though, for real. So we went straight up all the way through hard mode Deimos with light team. Strictly light team and light weapons and light skills only with SJW. And we got it all done. So I'm going to walk you guys through my setups, everything that we've done. If you want to check out the full live stream and have some good laughs, we had some great laughs. You can go check that out and see all the struggles, but I'm going to show you guys all the successions. Okay, so first off, Thomas. Thomas was my main DPS. Child did not work for me. Thomas was my main DPS. I'm going to walk you guys through what I did for his actual gear and how we set him up. So you guys can see here, sorry for the live chat, it's in the way, but it is what it is. The actual weapon he had is level 120. Now, it's really important because I run Thomas, Gunhi, and Min. Now, the reason why he has to be first place here is because Min's ultimate gives the top power, all the extra bonuses from his like crit damage increase, etc. Right? So this is why he's got to be first place. So I had to kind of dummy down my Gunhi in order for this to work. Now the way the artifacts worked and the cores worked is I gave him SJW's attack percentage one. Wasn't ideal, but it still worked because I needed crit damage. I gave this one here had crit defense penetration. This one had defense penetration. Okay, so 2 defense penetrations and 1 core here. And you guys can see in terms of armor sets. Let me go back here for a second. I had actually armed set. Okay, and my stats here is 31k defense. I think it was like 186% crit damage, 12k crit rate, and we had 30% 30% defense penetration, something like that, in that nature, okay? And at the same time, I used armed and outstanding abilities. All right, that's the main thing for him. Now, Gunhi had a full piece, 8-piece greed set, and his defense was 29%, 190% crit damage. Irrelevant for every other stat, to be honest with you. His crit rate was high enough to obviously always crit. And then Min, of course, had high 59k HP, had about 200% crit hit damage, and that was the goal. And he has full-on blessing set. Okay, so that's how we ran this fight. Now, this fight is very particular in terms of how you need to run it. Rotation matters quite a bit, right? And in terms of my actual setup, I had the following shadows here. Okay, so you guys can see my power 126.7. And the reason I was able to get this higher, by the way, is I started leveling up my Shadows skills, which I'd never done before. So I got Bestie here for more defense penetration, Iron for defense down, and Serbi for combustion, obviously. So that's the setup, and we're going to walk through this part real quick. Now, before I go through this, though, real quick, I want to remind everybody, again, and I'm going to keep doing this every time, so I apologize, guys, but it's important. The Content Creator Program support program for codes is ending for this season in 2 days. If you have not done so, please go support before it's all over and get yourself a chance to get 6 active current codes, which everyone who's supporting already has. So guys, those are the only codes right now. There's 2 more codes on the way, which everybody will get, whether you're new or existing. And also don't forget, guys, very, very important part of this is go and extend your support. This is how you're going to be able to continue getting your codes, continue going up the ranks if you're a spender, and getting yourself the chance to win $100 gift card if you're my top number 1, $100 gift card for my top 100, and a $50 gift card if you are part of any supporters. Doesn't matter if you're top 100, top first, doesn't matter. Everybody gets a chance. The way to extend is very simple. You log in, you go to the extend support section all the way in the bottom of the screen, you click on extend, and you're ready to go for next season. That way you don't have to wait for new codes. Once they're out, I'll be able to send it to you, get first dibs, and you don't miss out on anything. So this is really important, guys. Please go in and do this, okay? Super, super important. Now, for the rest of this, let's go back in here and show you guys how we did this run, okay? Now, this is important because the way you run this is going to determine how much time you have left. And it's super, super clear here that the first thing you got to do, obviously, with Gunhi is break. And you guys can see the break bar here doesn't last very long. Gunhi does actually shred this break bar very, very quickly. Okay, so the main thing here is being above power. Now, the funny thing here, I didn't know this, is that Bestie as your shadow can actually freeze anything. Doesn't matter if it's a boss or not. So you guys go, quick break. Now, you want to see that light debuff on there, right? Now with Min, simply do your rotation, skill 1, dash, skill 2, do your actual core, and bring Thomas in for his attack. Now, I usually do skill 1 core, skill 2 core, transform, skill 1 core, skill 2 core, transform, not transform, sorry. Don't do alt, you bring Gunhi in to make sure that you also get the light damage in. You see where it's right up there. Then I do an alt with Gunhi here. And then with Min, you can either QT if you want to, but alt here, right? And it's important to alt at the second phase for Thomas, because you want that alt damage to actually apply to the transformation right here. Now watch. I look at the bottom to make sure my actual my buff from my ultimate's about to go away, and if it starts blinking, I usually cast it, and this will actually push him over to 70%. And you guys know at 70% he obviously goes into phase 2, which makes you do the green orbs, right? So this is what I did here. I pushed him. Now around 250ish you're okay. All right, time wise 250ish you're okay. So anything below that makes it a little tougher. Okay, so here, clear, get all your green orbs. Nothing changes here from phase 1. It's pretty straightforward. So grab these, grab those, get the next one, and then you're set to go. Okay, so there you guys go. Boom, done. All right, now this is actually one of the tougher fights in all of WOBL. Number one, because you can't have blessings, right? Even though we didn't do blessings at all, you can't have blessings here. And number two, this you need a lot of defense penetration. Hence why I'm using arm set with Thomas with low defense. Right now, I don't have very good gear. My Thomas is at 31k defense. Most good Thomases run about 35 to 37 to 38. So I consider my Thomas pretty mediocre in regards to the gear. But you guys can see here, I'm still doing pretty good damage, and we're going to move him to the next phase. So again, same rotation here, guys. Bring Gun He in. Now, you don't have to QTE every time, by the way. QTEing is only really useful for avoiding damage. You guys can see with Min here, we cast our ult again. That way the Goliath phase has the ultimate bonus right here. Again, don't need to QTE with Thomas either, but it's just to avoid all those extra pieces of damage and sharpen ult, right? Now here you want to make sure you cast your ult before that light debuff goes away to do almost amount of damage. You guys can see we almost took him to 40%. He almost killed me here, which was crazy, but we pushed him over. Now he's going into the next phase. Now this is the eyeball phase. Now again, a minute 50, plenty of time. A minute 30, you're cutting it close, right? So try your best to get to that point where you're like a minute 40, a minute 50, and you should have enough time to then finish this whole thing up, okay? Now at this point, it's just pure DPS. Same rotations, nothing really changes. Everything else continues. Again, min, QTE. Now, having your punishment in place is always important, guys, okay? And again, you don't have to. You don't have to bring Thomas in with QT. I just like to avoid a little extra damage, and it just throws in a little extra as well for him. The main problem I had with Thomas with this fight, realistically, was his MP. This run, I had no problems with MP. So you want to make sure you at least have MP up to the 40% mark, or else you're losing your Astounding Abilities bonus. And if you are losing that, then go back and either give MP reduction for Thomas, or find an MP up for Thomas to give him more MP. That actually helped me in my last fight, so you'll notice that. So we have a minute left, guys. Pretty straightforward here. Just kind of run it, do your thing. You guys can see 56 seconds left, 13%. We kind of go through this. I'm just going to fast forward this part here for you, and you guys can see 8% with 30 seconds. Plenty of time to finish this, and we actually do get the job done here. Again, I just apply all my buffs just to be safe. I could have finished it before that, but it is what it is, as long as we got the job done. Okay, here's Thomas's kill, and this one's over. Okay, there's first run. Okay, first run is complete. You guys can see here, hard mode, Lich, done. Okay, now again, just to make sure clear, I don't do any blessings at all here. Okay, 0 blessings. This has just been a full. Everyone was like, get a blessing, Payne, get it done quicker. I said no, I want to do this without blessings. I've done every WOBL to this point without blessings, starting from Baron. So this is great. So you guys can see hard mode again right on the screen, and first boss completed, full light team. Okay, now let's go on to the SJW fight. All right, ladies and gents, here we are, part 2 of the video. Of part 4. That's right, there's 4 fights we got to go through. So this is the SJW fight, fighting with Deimos on his horse, the second fight in the round. Again, no blessings. Here's the blessing stone setup. We got Sharp Perception, Legendary, Reawakening, Heroic Weakness Detection, and we have ourselves a Legendary Bloodlust. And then whatever you want here is fine with me, okay? So you put whatever you like. Now, for Gun He, we had AP's Greed. For Thomas, we had Guardian and I think Outstanding Ability, and then with Min we had ourselves the full-on blessing set, right? Now in terms of weapons, and just so you guys can see here real quick what I'm running, in terms of stats, I actually had some stats accidentally in intelligence. I took it out, I put everything in strength except for 130 in perception. So 130 in perception, 555 actually in strength once I took the 20 stupid vitality out. And then the weapons that I used obviously in this run are going to be simply the 2 free-to-play weapons, the A10 Guild Spear, and I have an A6, I think A6 Golden Tail Fox. Okay, you guys can see right over here, the 2 weapons right there. I'm kind of blocking them, but that's because my camera's in the way. And then, of course, with power here, I got 134.5, 910, definitely more than enough to cover that. You need 1.35 to clear this, no problem. And then I use Igris here, Beru, and Serbi. You could use Iron here as well too if you want, and of course the Monarch, right? And in terms of the gun he and weapons, they all got their respectful weapons here. In terms of skills, I use the Heroic, because I've got only the Heroic version of it, the Multi-Strike, which is the armor break, and then I've got myself legendary double down. We use just the break versions of any of these heroic ones that we had, which are the two, I think one's corrosion and one, I forgot the other one's called. And then of course, in terms of blessings and cores, blessings that show cores, we have ourselves, I think, the SJW versions. So level 15 attack percentage crit damage, then attack percentage or HP percentage, sorry, defense percent, no, additional defense plus crit rate, and then HP percentage plus crit damage. Okay, so in terms of stats overall, you guys can see right over here, once I switch everything out, so I put the proper gear on, I used 4-piece curse and 4-piece expert. Okay, so that's the gear setup that I went with. So once everything was done here, let me just go back for a second. Once we did it all here, 44k, 99% precision, so 24k, 50% crit, over about 13k crit, 215 crit damage, and 19% defense pen, and 16% defense or damage up, right? So you guys can see all my stats there with everything that I got. And then once I equip it all, we're ready to rock. Now, my numbers go a little bit lower, obviously, because I actually end up having to equip two different weapons. One's an A7 versus an A10, and level 100 versus level 110, or what level 120, I mean. So my stats are a little bit lower than what you see there. I'm probably looking at maybe 43k-ish attack instead, okay? Now, there's a couple tricks to this fight. All right, number one, shadow step. Make sure when you shadow step, he's coming towards you. All right, now, clear one thing, if you are going to be using the Golden Tail Fox like I just did, when you do your Golden Tail Fox right over here, you guys can see the corrosion pops up right away. Instantly cast it. The reason why is you want this debuff up there, which will make the rest of your breaks do a lot more break damage. So make sure you guys are doing that before you do any of your breaks. So you guys can see we do a break there. I brought Gun-He in, and I do my multi-strike. Now, with Golden Tail Fox, I like to personally do Golden Tail Fox into either double down or into the spear. Okay, remember it does one extra light damage increase. So the spear does quite a bit of damage, double down does quite a bit of damage. So whichever one you want to do. Now the reason why I did Guardian set on Thomas is because obviously we want to get that bonus 10% damage from the shield, and we get a shield constantly in this fight. So make sure you do this. Now, a couple things to note about this. Break is your number one priority in the first phase. Okay, break, quick. Here I retry because I think I messed up. I was, like you guys can see my face here. I'm wondering, do I mess up? Did I mess up? I think I did. So I started retrying. Okay, so very important. Now we're gonna skip to that next part again. Okay. Oh wait, this is way too far. There we go, 85%. So you guys can see here, right around 80% or so, he goes into this little running phase. Okay, don't cast anything in this phase. Just let him go through, do your shadow step, whatever you want. But over here, you guys can see we shadow step, right? And then we go in, and then back into the same pattern again. Now, one thing to notice here is the fact that your MP will go down fairly quickly. So make sure you are doing some basic attacks to continuously get your MP back up, okay? So right around this phase here, you can summon your shadows in the beginning, and in this phase right here, you want to shadow step this, go right behind, do your corrosion again. He doesn't get another break bar, okay? But something that's very important here is you want to make sure your shadows do not show up in two different phases. Number one, in the first horse phase, if your shadows are around, when the horses trample them, you will get the debuff, all right? In the second phase, when he goes into the middle and he summons his horses, if your shadows are available, they will also get trampled, and you will then again get the defense or the damage decrease debuff, which can go up to 20 stacks, which is freaking insane because you'll do no damage. You do like 1 damage, it'll ruin your run, okay? So here you guys go. You guys can see we're doing a little bit of damage here, got him into the next phase. And this is the part I'm talking about. Do not summon your shadows here, okay? I made the mistake of summoning my shadows every time after this phase, because every time you get hit by one of these horses, you will face that damage decrease, and it's a hefty amount of damage that you lose. You guys see I got 1 stack right there. It's in the red, right? So this one's not bad. 1 stack's okay. You cannot afford more than 3 or 4 stacks as free to play. It just is way too much, okay? Now you guys can see, again, my MP is going down, right? Now the next phase is very important right here. Don't summon your shadows. This phase right here, all I'm doing is basic attacks to get my MP back. That's really it. I'm trying to avoid these as much as I can, but sometimes you are going to run out of some dodges. So make sure you use your multi-strike because it does give you invincibility, and you can avoid some of this. But you guys can see right here, I'm at 2 stacks. I think I get up to 3 or 4 even at this point, and there's 3. Okay, so 3 is okay. 3 is doable. You guys can see now we're 23% with 1:14 left. Plenty of time. He's going to jump up, come down. Now, remember, you need a break available at 20%. Do not let him get away with this. If he gets away without the break bar, you will you will lose because he's going to summon 2 adds and he'll take almost no damage. Okay, right here. So he goes in the middle. I took him over 20%. It's a simple, any break will do. Gun he will break him, armor break will break him. You can sneeze at his face, you'll probably break him. Just have something available that will break it, okay? So you guys can see here, we do alt. And again, shadow step's important, keep it up at all times. And we have 8% here with plenty of time left. Now around 8%, he does one more of these dashes and then drops down, okay? From here, it's just a time killer for you, right? So you got to make sure you avoid that. So there you guys go, full kill. That completed it. I was super happy. People didn't think I could do it. I love that. I love being doubted, baby. It just gives me fuel to that fire. Let me tell you, everyone's like, you're not going to be able to do it. I put a poll up. Actually, 72% of you actually believed in me, which was really nice. But a lot of the chatter was like, Payne can't do it without blessing. So I was very happy to finish this. All right, there's the second fight for you guys. Again, all free to play. All light team, all light weapons, all free to play weapons as well too, okay? Let's go on to the third fight, and then the fourth one. All right, guys, second last fight, SJW versus, obviously, Deimos, the commander of Transfiguration. So this fight was pretty straightforward. Nothing really changes from first, except he has multiple break bars, okay? So you guys can see I have 1.345 million. He's got 1.3, and then pretty much nothing changes here except for one thing. I put Pulverize in, and I take away, I believe it was one of the, I take away weakness detection, okay? So again, start off with Corrosion, bring in Gun He, do all your breaks, make sure the guy breaks instantly, and the moment you break him, you want to at least break him into 1 or 2 phases through, and you should be able to get the job done at that point, okay? So now in terms of shadows, I did change it up, of course. I'm no longer using Bestie here. I'm actually using, so we're using Beru, so main is actually going to be Igris, then Beru, and then Serbi, so nothing changes there. And you want to bring, you can bring in Iron as well too if you want to, but I personally prefer having I think Iron's actually in this one. I actually end up preferring Beru, but the reason why I use Beru here is because Min's punishment doesn't stack with his. You can, of course, time them a little differently, but in this case, we decided to go with that. Okay, so first phase here, break, and then make sure you build your ultimate up, and continuously do the exact same thing you did before. The one thing you want to avoid is that right there. Doing double down when he's up in the air, you actually do no damage to him, so avoid doing that as much as you can. And I kind of messed up over here. I did my ultimate too early. You guys can see we restarted that fight. Okay, so super, super important to avoid that. So I'm just showing you some mistakes here, okay? So here, we're going to jump in again, and here we're going to do it one more time. I'm going to get him through that phase real quick, and you guys will see the difference, okay? So right there, there, and this time we're going to actually save our ultimate, and we're not going to cast it, all right? So we get him to 80%. At 80%, he starts casting this eyeball skill. The reason why you want to get, or 85%, sorry. The reason why you want to get his eyes up, or have your ultimate available for his eyes, is you just want to one-shot these. Like, ideally, that's the goal. And once you one-shot them, just go straight into a shadow step behind them, okay? This is, again, nothing really changes here from what you've done before. He pretty much functions the exact same. The only real difference is he hits harder, he has more health, and of course his break bar comes back constantly, right? Rather than just twice. So you guys can see we're doing fairly decent damage, and roughly about 75% or so, he goes into his next phase. Now this is important. Do not summon your shadows in this next phase, because when he does the little Dance Dance Revolution thing on the ground, he will in fact get your shadows hit by those, and just like before, you're going to take the debuff for your shadow. So make sure you guys just basic attack here, get some MP up, go through those greens, get through the portal, and complete this phase. And then after this phase, you can summon your shadows whenever you want. There's no penalty for you to do so, okay? So you guys can see no debuffs because no shadows were harmed in this in the making of this video. And we're here with the next phase. Right there, he jumps always, and usually does that, right? He usually does the little roar, which cancels your animation. So don't do any of your good casts until that animation's over, so he doesn't stop it. Now here, second break bar is back. You can watch it recover. Just break it. Same thing as before. Now, I usually save Baron break for phase 3. In this case, I decided to use a phase 2 just to get it done out of the way. And here, you guys can see the breaks coming very soon. And you want to make sure that you do as much damage as you can for this phase, but save your ultimate. See how I'm not casting my ultimate? There's a reason, because you want to save it for the ads for the next phase. Okay, so very important, guys, to make sure you kill those ads off with the ult, so you're not dealing with, number 1, extra damage, number 2, just extra disturbances to your targeting system, whatever the case may be, right? Okay, here we go. And he's going to start going into the next phase. And this is now going to be the portal phase. Pretty straightforward. He just adds more portals. Just step in the right portals 3 times, and you got yourself a free break phase. Where you can do more damage. That's why Pulverize is great here as well. And then, of course, a free Shadow Step along the way. Okay, so you guys go. Shadow Step in. There's a little bit of a pause here. Again, do not cast your ultimate, even though it's tempting. Right around this phase here, he's going to summon his ads very soon. and this is what you want to save them for, okay? Now, you can see his break bar has not returned yet. I believe we have one more break phase to go through, but it's not that big of a deal, okay? So again, roar, don't cast anything when he does that. Just wait for this to finish, and then get ready for the next phase right now with all the ads, all right? He's going to start summoning. He walks a little bit before he does it right there, and then he summons them, all right? Wait till the summon is over. You'll see them pop up, and then from here you can go ahead and cast your ultimate, and that should pretty much clear out the room for you. If you were struggling with this part, it's probably because you haven't used your ultimate, but you want to make sure you clear them all out just like that. Shadow step when you have a chance, and then go right back to business. Now, again, he will usually have one more break if you're not fast enough to kill him. Not the end of the world, but we have plenty of time to finish this. Got a minute 19 with 20 some odd percentages left, and this becomes just straightforward DPS at this point. And you want to make sure you're, again, watching that break bar, okay? So 18%, 1 minute left, pretty easy. You can use Electric Shock here, Legendary if you have it. If you don't, Double Down Legendary is amazing. So both will get the job done. Get break here. And then you can see, look, his break bar is coming back, right? That was just really bad timing. Ideally, you want that break bar to return that same time as that phase right there, so you don't have to deal with double breaks. But, I mean, we don't have a choice here, right? So you kind of have to do that. And this is what kind of make the time go a little slower than it should have, because if we were to break at the same time as that last break, we could have got this done way faster than we did. But either way, we got the job done in this phase, so it's all good. So again, just going in for this usual typical breaks here. Bring Gun He in. And then do the... Now, you could save your Baron for this phase if you're desperate for like a faster break. You can, and it'll work. It'll get the job done, but it's not necessary, right? So here we go. Double down, and then ultimate gets the job done. All right, guys. So there is that last phase completed, and that's right, I had 0.077. I almost dropped the controller there to be like, I'm done, and then I was like, oh my god, I still have some health left. Okay, so there you guys go. Hard mode hard mode Deimos completed with SJW, and you guys can see there I got the free title there as well, right? So completed there. That was a great feeling. Not gonna lie. So that was right there, right here. So I'm gonna take a little picture of that. There we go. We can capture that later, and then that completes that phase. All right, let's go to the last fight, and then we're done. All right, ladies and gents, the last fight here. So the only difference between my Thomas here and my Thomas in the first fight is I put 4-piece curse on Thomas instead of 4-piece armed. And let me tell you right now, 4-piece curse works a lot better here. In my power, literally, I'm only 500 above the 1.3 million. So I'm actually, no, yeah, I'm a 1.3.5 or something. So very, very small amount of power difference here. Okay, so here you want to do the same stuff you normally would do. Bring Gun He in here and just avoid the beam. Go in for the break. Bring in Min. Do punishment. Don't keep Min in long enough. Just do QTE with Min as well, just so you get the power boost. And then bring in Thomas and do his proper rotation. So the same rotation we've been doing all along. And then, of course, once you've done your second rotation with Goliath, bring Gun He in. Do his ult. Get him out instantly. Do Min. Here you guys can see my Min got knocked back. It's okay. We're going to do ult here. And then this ult now will affect, of course, Thomas's ult, which will give him more damage overall. So bring in Thomas, do your moves, and then just go in with the ult here. And the reason why we do the ult here real quick is because we don't want to miss the ult when he's about to transform and go into his next phase, right? So right here's the next phase is what I'm talking about, this eyeball phase, okay? Now, this is literally the longest part of this fight, in my opinion. If you don't get Thomas's ult up right away, it's annoying to do it. So I bring in my shadows normally here, and I just build in Thomas's ults ready, and then I just try to like destroy things as quick as I can, right? Because the longer this phase stays around, the less you can damage him. So just try your best to kill as many of these things as you can. Just try to do the ult whenever it's possible after the rotation is done. Obviously, kill a few of these along the way, and then just complete this eye phase as quick as you possibly can get it done. So you guys can see only 4 eyes stayed alive. I think one might have made it. I think actually no, I killed it before I made it to him. You guys can see you like do no damage to the guy, right? So get rid of these eyeballs. Transform here, get rid of them, and then go in and start doing all your damage. Don't sub out yet. Do your rotation here, get it through, and again, you want to get him to 75% here, and then at 75, he does his move, right, or his next skill. So here, I don't try to go all the way. I just want to make sure I get punishment in, bring Thomas in here, and then cast your ult here before he goes into the next phase. Again, that's like, don't waste your ults, essentially is what I'm trying to say, right? There it is. Now, no shadows. Same thing, no shadows. Dance Dance Revolution through this part if you have to, and just keep going, right? There it is, there it is, there it is. Same rotation. Again, no reds. No, don't get the debuffs, man. You don't need that. I got 3 right there, which is annoying, but it is what it is. So here, you want to summon your shadows. You're free to summon shadows now. Bring in Baron. Kill this as quick as you can. break him as quick as you can, right? And just move on to the next phase. There you guys go. Min's coming in right away after the break. You see coming. Cast this. Now, I kind of messed up here a little bit. I shouldn't have casted this ult. This ult should have only been cast after Thomas transforms because it doesn't affect him. It affects this ult instead of the second ult, which matters more, right? So when you cast your ult here, you're only getting that extra bonus through that ult right there. So you actually want to save that ult for this phase. So always use Min's ult when he's in Goliath form, right? So that's the way you're going to get all the buffs. So here you go. Break him again, or not break him, hit him through. Now he's going to go through the portal phase. And then from this portal phase, same thing really happens. Nothing changes here. Make sure you go through it. Avoid it. I think one bugged out or I messed up, but it's right. One of these ones I messed up, I think, or something. But either way, you guys can see here. Oh, no. Okay, we got this one all the way. I remember one of them I did mess up on. Okay, so again, get your light debuff in. Bring Min in again. Get ready to do your punishment and get him out. Okay, so there it is. And now, again, you don't have to QTE with Thomas. I did it just to avoid the extra damage because he comes down and does an extra little like blast with his move. But here you guys go, going through. And we're doing pretty decent time-wise here. If you're like a 150 with 50% left, I think you're like in a good spot. If you're anything lower than that, you're probably going to be struggling with time. And right here, you want to ideally save all of these for the ads that pop up, okay? Now, those ads that pop up, believe it or not, if Thomas doesn't have a shield, can actually kill Thomas, right? You guys can see Min's casting it now, which is great. And right around here, he's going to do his little roar. That will mess you up, so make sure you save. And here, cast your ult. Just finish it off, right? Get as much damage as you can. And look at 24% left with the time that we have is a lot, okay? A lot of times to left. And you guys can see these are the ads I was referring to. I'm bringing Gun-He in here just to do a little bit more debuffs on there. And honestly, to take a little bit of damage, because Gun-He has so much health and his shield is so good. And we know at 22% or 23% he goes into his break phase. So you want to make sure you get rid of all his break bar as quick as you can. And that even with this countdown, Gun-He's shield just pretty much eats it all up for the most part. And then he'll survive, right? So break him again. I'm sorry for the quality, guys. It's off my live stream, obviously. I don't think it's done buffering or even processing, as a matter of fact. Here we go. Again, this is where I mess up again. Don't do what I just did. Do not cast this ult until Thomas is in Goliath form. That's just a big waste of a buff. So the rotation was a little bit bad there. I did that about twice this round, which kind of messed me up. I feel like I could have done this with at least like 45 seconds left, but it is what it is. Okay, he's coming down. Again, just going through the motions. Don't cast your ult yet. Bring in Gun-He. Make sure you have this available to you, okay? That extra debuff is so valuable, like that light debuff on the opponent. And then here, you want to do punishment. Don't leave without punishment. 30 seconds left. Plenty of time to cast an ult here and get the job done, okay? So just make sure you're doing it at a time where both debuffs are available to you. All right? And then right here. And then from there, just, a couple seconds left. Just finish up the job right there. And we're done. We've completed it, guys. Hard mode Deimos, no blessings, free to play, completed. Now, real quick, what helped me out through my power mostly was getting my shadows up through the new online co-op with Beru. Get those shadow energies, really important. Get the shadows up. I got no armory up, unfortunately. It didn't have enough resources. And then lastly, the shadow skills. Get them all up because it does help you. Again, you're fighting the TP, right? That's what matters most. So if you can beat the combat power in this game, you're good to go. So there you guys go. Full hard mode completed with no blessing as free to play. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped out. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you in the next one.